What's up, y'all? It's your boy Telbus again, your modern day David, and welcome back to my channel. We walk by faith and not by sight, and we trust in the Lord with all our heart, and lean not on our own understanding. I want to talk to y'all about something quick today. I want y'all to change our perspective about the situation that you're going through, the trials and tribulations, the suffering, the afflictions. You know, if you watch my videos, I talk all the time. I think most of my videos, I have the same thing said about trials and tribulations by how Paul and James says to rejoice in your trials because they produce patient endurance. While that is true, but I want to go a little further than that. Whatever you're going through, instead of complaining and focusing on the problem, focus on God. Go to Him, and you should be asking God certain questions. Don't ask God, God, take me out of this. Take me out of this. God, take me out of this. God is using that to grow you and build you up. Why would He just take you out? If He take you out, He's going to put you right back in the fire because you got some more growing to do because He has an assignment for you. So what you should be asking God is, God, what are you trying to pull out of me through this trial and this tribulation, this suffering that I'm going through? What is my assignment and how is it connected to what I'm going through? For example, someone who is destined to, God may have an assignment for a person to help the homeless. How can he relate to homeless people if he never had to sleep in his car? If he never been evicted? If he never couldn't pay his bill on time? God's not using a person that's been rich all their life and just not humble to go and help the poor. He may make some changes to that person, their character later on, and then take them through their own fire and then lead them there. But your assignment is different. You're going through the things you're going through because God has an assignment for you. Everybody on earth has an assignment because our lives tell the story. And our story of our lives should always give God glory. That's why God will have you low to bring you high. And when you are high, you're not high for yourself. He doesn't bring you high for you. God doesn't want any of His children to perish. He wants everybody to know about Him. So when He brings you high, you're supposed to uplift and exalt Him high. So your assignment is connected to your struggle. And your struggle is connected to your assignment. Let's take Joseph in the Bible, for example. Joseph had a dream. He dreamed that his brothers were bowing down to him. They got jealous. They sold him into slavery. But God's favor was with him wherever he went. So when he ended up going after slavery, he went to Potiphar's house. Potiphar's wife came on him. He wasn't with it, so she lied on him, had him in prison. God's favor was on him in prison. So after prison, he ended up in Pharaoh's house. So we know the story, but throughout those different stages, how do you think Joseph was feeling? He felt just like you are. In his suffering and his affliction, he felt just like you are in your suffering and in your affliction. But we see through Joseph's story that how God used his story, because at the end of things, God used the fact that he was sold into slavery, that he was in prison, that he ended up in Pharaoh's the second hand man, because later on a famine was coming. Back when God gave Joseph the dream, God knew that famine for the future. He knew that famine was coming away in the future. So God had that in mind when He had it allowed Joseph to be put into slavery, which would lead to him being put in prison, which would lead to him being put in the palace, which would lead to Pharaoh to have a dream that God had gave Joseph the answer to. And that dream and the answer to the dream would cause the land of Egypt and many other nations to be saved, because God had it so that Joseph had the plan to store up food for 7 years. And then different nations was coming to Egypt to get food because they ran out because there was a famine. And guess who else came? Joseph's brothers. God had a plan to save all of them, but We don't know what the plan is. That's why we trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. We don't know God's plan. We don't know what's going on in the future. We don't know what God is preparing us for. We walk by faith and not by sight. Follow God. Don't trust on your own understanding. You don't know what's coming. You don't know why you got to go through this. God does. He ain't doing it to pick on you. He ain't doing it for no reason. Trust him and follow him. Listen, if Joseph didn't go into slavery, the bloodline that would lead to Jesus Christ would have been used up, and they would have died in the famine. So in a way, you could say Joseph saved that whole bloodline. God saved the whole bloodline through Joseph. So what is God saving through you? How important is your assignment? You don't know. So right now you need to be rejoicing in your trial, because God is pulling something out of it. He's using it for your good. God has a plan. His ways are not our ways, and his thoughts are not our thoughts. They are higher than our thoughts, and his ways are higher than our ways. You have to know that. So trust in God. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, because he will make your path straight. It is imperative that you trust in God. Don't complain so much. Change your perspective. Say, God, what are you using for my bruising? God, what you using for my bruising? I'm going to use that. God, what are you using for my bruising? In Jesus' name, y'all be blessed.